Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you are. Hi, this is Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey. I talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds on the ketogenic diet since January of 2014. And I like to talk to other people about how they might be able to lose weight, improve their health, and regain control of their lives. Thank you for coming this afternoon. And thank you. This is a live broadcast, so if you do not enjoy live broadcasts, you might want to move on to another video. I do want to say, hey, look at all the folks who are here. Hey, Vicki from Southeast Washington, Brenda, Frida, Kay Kennedy, Christina Wilburn. Oh, this is fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. And if you can hear that in the background, I'm doing laundry, so that's my washing machine going off. I hope that is not too distracting. Luz Diaz, buenos dias, Casey. Buenos dias, Luz. Okay, today's topic. What's allowed on the ketogenic diet? Now, I don't really want to talk about what's allowed because I want to talk to the question itself. This has come up, this comes up a lot, and particularly on message boards, Facebook groups, things like this. People say, am I allowed to eat so-and-so on the ketogenic diet? If I cheat on the diet, will I get kicked out of the group? If I like to do net carbs, is that wrong? And I want to back up just a little bit. First of all, to explain it, if you don't know what the ketogenic diet is, the ketogenic diet is simply, sounds like someone being pummeled in the background, is simply where you reduce your carbohydrate intake to the point where your liver stops pushing out glucose and starts, your body starts to burn ketones for fuel. You know what? I'm not going to be able to stand that. Hold, please. Sorry, should have thought of that before I started the broadcast. So the ketogenic diet is simply one where you reduce your carbohydrate intake to the point where you no longer are producing glucose for fuel, but your body starts burning ketones for fuel, hence the word ketogenic. I'm fishing my microphone up through my shirt hole. Okay, that's all that means. So you are in ketosis, you are burning ketones for fuel. It's that straightforward. You get that generally by reducing your carbohydrate intake to at or below 20 grams of carbohydrate a day. Keep in mind, it's not a percentage. People like to do the percentages, but it's not a percentage of carbohydrate. It's grams of carbohydrate, 20 or fewer, total, not net. That will be effective for almost everybody. Eat fatty sources of protein, eat only when you're hungry. So, what does that mean? What's allowed? Well, there are foods, and you don't really need a food list to follow if you keep in mind some general tenets that essentially any animal product is at 0 or barely above 0 grams of carbohydrate. Very, very, very low. So meat, fish, poultry, bacon, if it's from an animal, it's usually going to be pretty good. Non-starchy vegetables in the amount of up to about a cup a day, pre-cooked, and leafy greens up to about 2 cups a day. And that's really what you do. Some, oils that you might add, olive oil on your vegetables, or some butter on your vegetables or on your steak. Eggs, of course, are great. Dairy, if you can tolerate it, full fat. So those are the general guidelines. But I want to get more to the psychology behind the question, what's allowed? What am I allowed to eat on the ketogenic diet? Or if you're in a group, will I be kicked out of the group if I do net carbs or if I have a cheat day? I want to boil this down. I want you to ask yourself, if these are the kind of questions you ask, what other aspect of your life would you go to a group and ask what you're allowed to do? What other aspect of your life? This is not a matter of being allowed. And if you decide to eat more carbs than is prescribed by the program, it's not cheating. It's not a law. You know, there's no commandment against eating more than 20 grams of carbohydrate a day. It's your choice. I mean, some people find it harder to restrict the carbs or get over the, you know, the kind of a, if you want to call it a detox period than others. Some people just are not that interested in really cutting back on carbohydrate. But it's not cheating, and you need no one's permission to do it. Now, that said, if you're in a group where keto or ketogenic is in the title of the group, asking a question like, what do you think about a cheat day? You're going to get some feedback, you know, or here's a recipe that only, you know, it's only 17 grams of carbohydrate per serving. Ooh, probably going to get some pushback, but that's okay. The point is, it's not what you do. It's no one's business what you do. It's nobody's business what you do. If you want to know how to be successful, then you need to start absorbing the advice that you'll be given. And you know, some people hear things in a different way. Some people learn things in a different way. Some people need to hear things several times, and that's totally understandable. You know, some people are visual learners, some are auditory learners. Some need a lot of structure, and some don't need as much structure. But I don't think it's healthy for anybody to put themselves in a frame of mind where they feel like they need permission to make food choices from anybody. It ultimately comes down to what we decide for ourselves, doesn't it? Now, I'm not saying, oh, if you just want it bad enough, you'll do it. No, that's not the case. None of you would be here listening to this little session if you weren't looking to feel better, heal from the inside, possibly lose weight for just appearances. It doesn't matter. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want it. So I would never insult by saying to someone, no, you just don't want it badly enough. But I do think a good step is to stop thinking that you need permission from anybody about what to put in your mouth. You know, be careful if you say, I'm following the ketogenic diet and it's not working. And I'm really good almost every day. One thing, being good, again, not good or bad, legal or illegal, cheating or faithful. It's food that you put in your mouth. You know, and I only have one cheat day a week, or I have a carb up because I broke out in a rash. If it works for you, great. But if it's not working, then maybe examine what you're doing. As I say, don't blame the ketogenic diet for what the net carbs did. Don't blame keto for what the cheat day did. You know, don't say I'm a vegan and I'm a really strict vegan. I only have pork chops once a week. Or I'm in a monogamous relationship, so I only sleep with another person once a quarter. You know, it doesn't work that way. Do what you want to do. Eat the pork you want to eat. Sleep with who you want to sleep with. But don't say you're doing something that is the opposite of what the description is, right? If that makes sense. Not that the ketogenic diet is on a par with monogamy. It's just an analogy. So here's what I think one reason we might do that. Am I allowed to do this? What happens if I do this? If I go off plan? I think some of us want permission to do that. And it might be because we're just not quite ready to follow through. The most successful people I meet, the most successful people with whom I speak, and my own personal success has been when the program is followed faithfully, no deviation. You've heard the old phrase, somebody says, oh, she's so lucky. And someone else says, yeah, the harder she works, the luckier she gets. You know that? Well, this is kind of the same. The more adherent people are, the more successful they are for their own goals. As Dr. Eric Westman has said many times, I don't know why the light is going off and on me, I apologize. He's quoted as having told his patients, I can guarantee you the program works. I just can't guarantee you'll follow it. And that's fine. If it's difficult to follow and it's not right for you right now, so be it. No judgment. No judgment. Nobody's business. But that's kind of it. Again, if you want to be a vegan, don't eat animal products. If you want to be following the ketogenic diet, get into ketosis, keep your carbs lowered to the point where you are. If what you really just want to do is reduce your carbs that's totally great too. That works for some people. Weight Watchers works for some people. Move more, eat less works for some people, and low fat works for some people. Find what works for you. But if you're deviating from the plan and it's not working, then re-examine either whether this plan is for you or whether you simply need to make the adjustments to the appropriate level. Okay, that's my little lecture. I do want to bring up something. This is a little off topic. I have reopened the Keto After 40 group, and I've renamed it Keto After 40 with Casey. This is not about self-promotion. This is about making clear what the group is about. And I'll tell you, when I started it, I wanted it to just be dialogues going and conversations going, and be as open as possible. And it has been great. But then, things kind of get off whack, and people argue that yes, I can do this and this stuff that's clearly not keto. And I thought it was only fair to let people know who were requesting membership that they don't have to do what I do, but that I started the group, and this is how I found success after 40. Shoot, I found success starting at age 55. So that's what this is about. I renamed it Keto After 40 with Casey. And I've reopened membership. Anyone requesting membership does need to answer 3 questions just to kind of weed out spammy stuff. And there we are. So many people have voted with their feet and have left the group. Well, many, a fraction. And that's cool too. But I just want to let you know that. Second order of business, if you are in or around the Greensboro, North Carolina area tomorrow, Tuesday, the 25th of July, 2017, we are having our second Greensboro Keto Support and Information Meeting. The first one literally almost got rained out, huge thunderstorm, but still people showed up. It'll be at Tex and Shirley's Pancake House. You can go to Go Keto with Casey Facebook page and see the event notice if you like. Love to have you come. And it's in a pancake house. And yes, you can eat keto in a pancake house. So there's that. And I think that's kind of only the last order of business I had. All right, now I'm going to turn my attention to all you lovely people who are here. Hey, Karen, love the name change. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really pondered this for a long time because I didn't want anyone to think it was a, bait and switch, or I was, and it's not about self-promotion at all. This is really about being clear on kind of the focus, and also so that I felt more authority on kind of shutting down some conversations that were way off topic, or suggesting to people that what they're doing is not exactly a ketogenic diet. So there we go. Thank you, Susan Cosmos, for your super chat. You are one of the most generous people ever, and I'm embarrassed that you keep doing this, but I do appreciate it. Susan writes, thanks for your wisdom. So many of us have learned so much because of you, of Casey, and you keep it real. No candy coating. Ooh, no candy coating for sure. So thank you very much, Susan. I'm going to share something with you, and I didn't know whether to do this or not, but in right after this session, I'm expecting a phone call from someone who reached out to me and floated the idea, and this is someone who apparently can make this kind of thing happen, about a Go Keto Cruising with Casey, a cruise. What you think, guys? I have no idea whether this can be brought off, and I don't know whether the person with whom I will be speaking is hearing my voice right now, but I'm very intrigued by the idea. People have suggested it before, and I thought, well, that's a great idea, but I would have no idea what to, I mean, that's just way over my experience level, so that's pretty cool. Barbara, I would love a cruise. You know, my husband and I have been on exactly one vacation together, and it was the cruise we took in May, and we loved it. So we just love to go on a cruise again anyway. Yes, let's go cruising. Wouldn't that be fun? Or any kind of a get-together, a meeting at some resort, and just hanging out and doing stuff. I think that would be great, because you guys know all I want to do is drink wine and talk about keto. Now it's early, and this is tonic water with a lime and a little stuff that my hashtag my friend Jen turned me on to. I'm looking for the container. It's stevia extract. Beep beep beep. Powder in there. It's really refreshing. Okay. Pamela Ramsay writes, I'll start putting pennies in the cookie jar. That would be great. Okay, and this is going by really quickly. So I've missed some comments. Okay, does anyone have, someone writes, come to the Big Easy. I've never been to New Orleans. Come to Hawaii. Wow, that would be fun. Dang. I kind of got the traveling bug after traveling in May. You know, I'm a homebody. Speaking of home buddies, I'm going to make available, because it was asked and it coincidentally had been offered at the Greensboro meeting, some Adapt bars. If you guys are familiar, Dr. Eric Westman, he is part of Adapt, and they have food products. They are convenience foods for staying on the ketogenic diet. They are really quality foods. I don't use them because I don't need them, because I'm a homebody and I work in my kitchen. So, you know, if I get peckish, I eat some, cube of cheese or a hard-boiled egg or something. But there are people who travel, who are exercising, who have to be at work all day and all they have are vending machines, or they just want something. So I have some Adapt products. They're actually on the table behind me. I took a delivery of them. They did not sponsor me. I paid for them. So they'll be available. And I don't know, as I said, I don't use them only because I don't need them. My husband will probably use them because he's a cyclist when he goes on his long rides. The protein bar was good, and he travels when he goes from here to Columbia. It's about a 15 or 16-hour day of travel. And last time he went, he had one meal. It was a $26 hamburger without a bun in the Newark airport. So he thought, I can do better than this. So anyway, they'll be available. Now I might get a little thing on my website that you can order them if you want. But anyway, I'm a homebody. I work in my kitchen for the most part. Pamela Ramsay, come to Hollywood and I'll break the cookie jar and take y'all to a keto dinner. How sweet. Okay, LaFawn Sweeten writes, also people that ask what is allowed just might know what is in a food. There is a learning curve. There really is a learning curve, and I'm sensitive to that. I will tell you that, and we use these words aloud, and I think this goes to psychology. I don't think men usually ask that. I don't think they say what's allowed on keto. And I don't think they refer to it as cheating. And that's a sweeping generality. But I think the psychology of many women, many people, but women particularly, who have spent years overweight, we have been told specifically. Not just, it's not just been implied. It's been said, if you are not successful at this, you're not doing it right. It's a failing on your part. And it's almost like a paternal thing. What am I allowed to eat? Well, you can eat anything you want. In general, eat fatty sources of protein, eat non-starchy vegetables, limited amounts. And then, get a good source for what those foods could be, but you can do your own research. You can quickly find out, what can I eat to remain under 20 carbs a day? But you're right, there is a learning curve. And those of us who have been immersed in this in a really long time can forget that. And we can say, oh, it's just simple. Just do this. Well, it is simple, but what is it not, guys? It's not necessarily easy. So thank you for that reminder. But I want us to stop. We've talked before about our self-talk, about how we say, someone gives you a compliment. Oh, wow, you've lost weight. Oh, yeah, but I have so far to go. Or you look so pretty today. Oh, no. Yes, I do look pretty today. Thank you. Well, you don't have to say I look pretty. You just say thank you. If someone says, have you lost weight? You look great. Don't say, yes, but I have a long way to go. Say, yes, and I feel great. Thank you. We tend to talk badly to ourselves in a way we would never speak to anyone else. And this whole mindset of what am I allowed to do? What happens if I cheat? Will I be kicked out of the group? As I wrote in the Keto After 40 with Casey, someone was talking about cheat days. There was a whole long post about it. So I finally said, I want to make it really clear. It's nobody's business what you do. Now, what you post in a certain place, that's my business. If you're in my group and you're posting stuff, what you write is my business. What you do is nobody's business. But just keep in mind that this kind of program it's kind of an all or nothing program. Cycling in and out of ketosis, particularly if you if you've been metabolically damaged, if you've been heavy for a long time, if you've been a type 2 diabetic or pre-diabetic, if you're inflamed, if you have insulin resistance, that is not helpful to go in and out. If you're somebody that's been generally healthy and not had poor markers and maybe not been overweight for a long time, if you're someone who's gotten some middle-age spread, but you were fit and happy and healthy before, maybe it's not a problem. But there is no, and I asked this question of Dr. Eric Westman and Jackie Everstein on the cruise. We were privileged to be at their table for dinner every night. And I asked, what about these, carbing up to kind of jumpstart things? They both just started shaking their heads before I had the question out of my mouth. There's no scientific evidence that would be helpful at all. No research. It's essentially made up. So there you go on that. Hey, Peggy Vasquez is here. Hey, I'm so glad you made it. And Helen Brins, thank you. You have Helen writes, I have rheumatoid arthritis and much inflammation. Helen, has this helped at all? Have you found out that the anti-inflammatory properties are beginning to kick in? Oh, I love it how you guys are getting to know each other, people who have never met. You see each other on Patreon. You see each other here. You see each other on the Facebook group. I think it's fantastic. I love this. Do you guys feel the same way I do? That if we all ended up at a resort together by accident and we figured out who each other were, we would have more fun. I think it would be a blast. I mean, I really feel like I've met people. And I said this the other day, I would have rolled my eyes at that 6 months ago. Met people online, you've met, what? No, I feel really connected to many of you. Lita Newman, consistency is the key. It truly is. And for many of us, I would dare say most of us who've done this and started and were diligent, when you get through about the first month, it's not even much of an effort. Now, all of us have days that are different. Some of us have very trying days, and stressors can be stressors. The skill then is to redirect that stress. Yes, I'm stressed out, but if hunger's not your problem, food is not the answer, right? And I can honestly say now, and I've had some stressors, even fairly recently, but food just did not enter the picture. So I'm really pleased with that. And that would not have been the case before. Another low this morning, writes Nancy Hansen. Fantastic. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, Susan W. asks, is there an optimal time to check your ketones? Now, if you're talking about blood ketones, Dr. Finney, had breakfast with him and his wife, my husband and I had breakfast with him on the cruise. They asked if they could sit with us, and we said, yes, you may. He said there may be an advantage to doing it in the afternoon or after exercise, but with blood, not so much. Urine, yes, because the acetoacetate can be diluted first thing upon rising. So if you're using urine sticks, later in the day is better. By the way, if I never hear or see another video or a blog post about someone carping about keto sticks are useless, and it doesn't matter if you're spilling out ketones unless you're fat adapted, I will be a happy person. Again, saying that all the keto sticks are doing is measuring ketones you're spilling over is like saying all that smoke detector is doing is detecting if there's smoke. Yes, that's the job. If you're spilling over ketones, doesn't mean you're wasting them. It is simply a byproduct, any more than if you have beta-hydroxybutyrate, which is measured in the blood. Saying, oh, you're not fat adapted because you're spilling over beta-hydroxybutyrate. Or if you're using a breath analyzer, oh, you're not fat adapted because all that's doing is measuring whether acetone is being expelled. That's what happens when you're burning ketones. There are three byproducts of your body burning ketones, at least three: acetoacetate in urine, beta-hydroxybutyrate in blood, acetone in breath. That's like saying, well, that fire is not really burning because all you're ending up with is smoke and ash and heat. That's what fires do. They give off smoke and they produce ash and they give off heat. What are you going to say? No, it's not a legitimate fire because look at all the smoke? I don't know about that. So anyway, that's that thing. Hope I answered your question, and a little bit of a rant in there. Sorry about that. Late in human, encouragement on a stick. I found the keto sticks very motivating at the beginning. I use them. We just got some more because my husband uses them more than I do because he checks for ketosis more than I, because I know I'm in ketosis, have been for over 3 years, and I mean, I'm in ketosis, y'all. His measurements tend to be lower, so he likes to make sure that he's okay. Plus, he eats a few more carbs because he's a guy, he can tolerate them. He was not as metabolically damaged as I, etc., etc., etc. Susan Cosmos, I don't even check anymore because my clothing tells me what I know about. My undies fell off. Ooh, baby. LOL. 11 to 8 Okies, yuppers, I'm in ketosis. I don't know what that means. 11 to 8 Okies, yuppers, I'm in ketosis. Okay. I like that, but I don't know what it means. Barbara Nelson, my new low is my blood sugar's low is 106. Fantastic. That is awesome. And I don't know why the light keeps going out where I am, but it does. I don't know. Sorry about that. Yeah, undies falling off. That's great. And Nancy writes, I use my keto sticks about 2 p.m. That's a good thing to do. That's probably perfect. All right, guys. It is, oh, wow, I like these. Down, oh, size 11 down to size 8. Thank you for the explanation. I'm a Okie. I have trouble getting past trace ketosis. Y'all, What are we going to tell Ima? I assume you're from Oklahoma. I'm a Okie from the Stokies. Trace equals ketosis. Light purple, if you're on the keto sticks. Light pink, dark purple, same thing. Don't fret if you're dark purple. People say, oh, that you're not in ketosis, you're just dehydrated. Think about this. If you ate 7 cupcakes and the next morning you were totally dehydrated, would it show purple? No, because it's not the hydration level, y'all, that determines whether you're in ketosis. It might show a darker and that's only because the beta hydroxybutyrate is less diluted, okay? But people say, oh, dark purple just means you're dehydrated, not that you're in ketosis. Wrong, wrong, and wrong. I hate to be blunt, but it's not even logically sensible. Karen Courtney, 43.8, down since March. Congratulations. Congratulations. Nitesh Nagy, overdoing, I didn't get that. I took off my new size 16 Capris without unzipping or unbuttoning them. Holy cow, Gene, you're a 14 or maybe even a 12. That is fantastic. Either you are or you aren't. Writeth Annie Lewis. Annie, how are we doing today? How's everything? How's the family? Wink, wink. How's training going? For those of you who don't know, Annie's been doing a couch to 5K, and I'm going to the gym again today after my phone call. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get on the treadmill. Oh, hold please. I'm going to show you something. Hold. I'm going to the gym again today after my phone call. And here's what. Okay. I went to the gym, right? I joined the gym. Maybe you don't know, but I joined the gym. And I hadn't been to the gym. Well, I didn't know. I just knew it had been a long time. But I was very heavy. It was pre-keto. I found my old thing that I would go to the gym. And in it, I found this. Oops, sorry about the microphone. I found this little book that I used when I went to the gym before. Because I was diligent. I was trying so hard to move more and eat less. And I was so miserable. I was so heavy and everything I did hurt. But I tried, man, because that's what we were told to do. So I found this little book, even with the pencil that I would take. And I made all these, I like charts and graphs. And here's all the things that I was doing. I was doing weight training and I was doing cardio. And the little book started in January of 2011. And then I would go a couple of times. And the last time I went to the gym and recorded any activity was November 5th, 2013, almost exactly 2 months before I started keto. So I was heavy. I was probably close to 100 pounds heavier that day than the day I started, than I am today. But on here, I had not done any weight training that day. All I did was I just said, I'm going to do some cardio. So I got on the treadmill. And here's where I wrote down, because I'm very exacting. I did 3.6 miles per hour, which is barely walking briskly, for 9/10 of a mile on the treadmill. And then I did 5.2 miles an hour for 1/10 of a mile. And I did that twice. And I'm sure I almost fell off of that treadmill at the end. I'm sure I was like, oh my God, I'm just going to expire. So that is almost nothing. Okay? So I did 2 times. I went 9/10 of a mile on a treadmill at 3.6 miles per hour and 1/10 of a mile at 5.2. And that's as much as I did that day. And it took me 32 minutes and 15 seconds to do it. So today I'm going to the gym. I cracked my foot a couple of weeks ago, so I haven't really, actually it still hurts a little bit, but I'm going to I think I can put do some running on it. I'm going to get on the treadmill and I'm going to see. I'm just going to go. I'm going to set it at a decent pace. I'm going to start out jogging. I'm going to cover over the readout and I'm going to go and I'm going to go and I'm going to go. And anything better than this for me will be victory. But I am really curious to see how much easier it is to move my body 100 pounds lighter. It's going to be a revelation, I think. So anyway, there's that. And I love that I found this thing. I love it. And look, I did weight training and all that. Bench presses and leg presses and oh my goodness. All right, guys. Let me see, you guys are talking to each other. I like that. I'm so glad when you're talking to each other and not listening to me. Jason Whitrock is a gorgeous bodybuilder who loves keto. He said the urine sticks are good. They are good. You know what's happened? A couple of people have said they're useless, which is too broad a statement anyway. If they're useless, then why are they used by actual type 1 diabetics to measure ketone levels? Think about it. That's what they were designed for. To measure ketone levels in type 1 diabetics who need to make sure they measure their ketone levels. So how can they be useless? Where are all the lawsuits for the false negatives, right? Come on, people, give me a break. In some people, sometimes the acetoacetate, once you've been in ketosis a long time, can be resorbed by your body and not excreted. That can happen sometimes with some people. I've been in ketosis for over 3.5 years now. And when I check, it registers usually right in the middle. And I'm definitely in ketosis, okay, as that. Hey, Pamela, fantastic. Cut up watermelon for a party last night. Didn't even take a lick. That is great. Letha Newman writes, at one point I was working out 2 hours a day, but eating low fat. I did this for about a year, didn't lose a thing. My body can't handle carbs, even with all the working out. I don't know about your experience, Letha. I was miserable. No, I liked going to the gym. I liked feeling like I had done something, but I was slow. It was ineffective. I was embarrassed to be on those machines. I mean, you know, I knew nobody really cared. And I was not even necessarily the largest person there. I just didn't like it. I mean, it was not rewarding. You know, it was not rewarding. It hurt. It made me hurt worse. My legs, my ankles, my hips, everything hurt. Okay. Okay, Gayla Rodriguez writes, yeah, I love looking at Jason, but I cannot eat as much as he does. Keep in mind, we all have different energy needs. I eat, and every day our energy needs can be different. But a bodybuilder is going to eat differently and eat more, and he's a guy, and he's all that stuff. So that's why I say don't go by what other people eat. Don't go by the food charts or MyFitnessPal telling you how many calories you should eat. Every day MyFitnessPal told me I'm going to die real soon. Our bodies are eating calories in addition to the ones we put in our mouth. That's the whole point, right? Okay. All right, I really do need to start closing this up. I really appreciate you guys showing up. Thank you so much. If you have friends that you feel like would benefit from the Keto After 40 with Casey Facebook group, feel free to recommend them, to add them, but they do need to answer the 3 questions. I'm going to be very strict about that. I want to also, if people are being added, I want to make sure they know they're being added. Some people end up in a group they never asked to be in. If you can make it to the Greensboro Support and Information Meeting, Greensboro, North Carolina, tomorrow, that would be great. And I think I'm going to be doing my Facebook Live in the car on Saturday because we actually are traveling. Our older son's birthday weekend is coming up, and we've been invited to his in-laws to celebrate. So we're traveling on Saturday about the time I do my Facebook Live. So instead of resetting the time, I think I'm going to just do it in the car, let my husband drive, and I'll do it in the car. We'll see how that goes. 11 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Lay down the law, Casey. I don't like to be stringent because different things do work for different people. But at the end of the day, there does need to be a general structure, right? Otherwise, just join another group. If you just want to do low carb, that's fine. If you want to do lazy keto, that's fine. If you want to do net carbs keto, that's fine. And that it's fine because lots of different things work for a lot of different people. But many of us over a certain age need to be more stringent. It's just the way physiology goes for most of us. Okay. KD4YT. KD4YT. Is it normal to lose my appetite for long periods of time? I'm finding I only want to eat once a day and find myself forcing myself to eat. Yes, that's perfect. That's the idea. That is success. The ketogenic diet is a natural appetite suppressant. There's a physiological reason for it. It's nothing to fear. Many people are freaked out when they, find I don't want to eat anything. I forgot to eat. Yeah, a lot of us eat one meal a day. Jean eats once every couple of days, I think. Jean O'Connor, who's here. Eat when you want to. Oh, not when you want to. Excuse me. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Back up. Beep, beep, beep. Eat when you're hungry. Stop when you're satiated. And if you're not hungry, don't eat. And don't say, I've got to get my calories in because my fitness pal says I need to eat 1,200 calories a day and I've only eaten 900. Nope. My fitness pal is just an app. Don't let an app tell you what to do. Okay. Thank you for showing up. I love these little get-togethers. To my patrons, thank you so much. I'll see you on the Friday Pep Talk for those of you who are eligible. And let me know if there's anything I can do. I do appreciate cordial feedback, and I'm willing to take it. Thank you so much. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day, total, not net. Eat fatty sources of protein. Eat only when you're hungry. That's hard. And stop when you're satiated. That's even harder. But it works. It really works. If I can do it, you can do it. If Jean O'Connor, who was in a bedridden, can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. It's not just a line. Go look at my before pictures, and all it was food. Okay? Thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.